Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Shooting the with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today's topic is, do you trust the police to protect your rights? When it comes down to it, when it's push come to shove, and police are given an order by their government commanders that violates your right, will they lay down their badge and their gun and walk away, leaving their pensions and their jobs behind? Or will they think, where's a high school graduate get $150,000 a year job with such good benefits, deferred benefits, etc., and find a way to justify violating your rights? Will they stand with the people that pay their checks, or will they stand with us, the people? That's what I want to know. I want to know what you think. I will start us off as usual, since everybody else has pretty much already weighed in. No, I don't trust them at all, because here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying that. Well, cops around here won't do that. Cops around here won't do that. But then we see time and time again, like Katrina and several other instances. Remember during the riot lockdowns where they're going around neighborhoods shooting at innocent civilians on their front porch with pepper guns. Say, get your ass, turns out they were unlawful orders, unlawful lockdowns. In Katrina, they were going around taking guns away from people. Every time they say, oh, my cops won't do it, they do it. I've had so many cops in my chat say, well, hell, I got to enforce it. I'm not giving away my pension so you can keep your guns. I've heard it so many times, seen it so many times, that I don't know how the bootlickers ever justify their idea that somehow, oh, the cops around here, though, when it comes down to it, when they're told either get out there and crack some heads or walk away, give up your pension, your job, your income, everything, they think they're going to. And when they've shown us they haven't. And plus, in today's society, law enforcement has been indoctrinated that they are the elite. They are the protectors of the elite, and we are the enemy. The people are the enemy. They more protect the politicians and the 1% now than they do anything else. And when they hire cops these days, it ain't about finding the best and brightest. It ain't about finding people that can handle the situations. It ain't about finding people who can think on their feet. I've gone through the hiring process at different stages in my life and different stages in time. First time, it was all about what I just said. Can you handle a stressful situation? Can you de-escalate? Can you think quick on your feet? Can you make the good decisions? Now it's about, can you follow orders? Will you rat on your fellow officer, etc.? Like I've said previously, one of the questions they actually asked in the hiring process that made me just sick was, your sergeant's in the car with you and he runs over someone's dog. He says, oh, I know whose dog this is. I'll take care of it. And then a week later, you see signs up for the dog and missing. Do you call them and tell them? That kind of thing. Like, do you rat out your sergeant? That shit. So I don't really have any love for law enforcement. And plus, over the last several decades, they've gone court case after court case after court case. Recently, the one about the cop that stood outside the school listening to kids be killed, saying that he had no obligation to go in there. I thought that was supposed to be their job. I thought that's why they made so much money. Where else can a high school graduate make that kind of money? Real good money all their life, and then good retirements. And then if they didn't happen to get cancer or nothing, a lot of them get like $200,000-$300,000 bonus just because they never used their health insurance much. They get those deferred benefits. Where else do they get that? So I don't trust them to protect my rights at all. Not only because of the type of people they're hiring nowadays and the way they use the law enforcement nowadays, but simply because they've shown us that they won't. They've shown us they'll follow orders. So I don't see how anybody can say they would. But let's see if somebody does say they would. Let's go over to the live chat now and see what other people have to think. That was a super sticker. I don't know what that is. Officer Tater Hater says, I don't trust the popo. I sent you a video from Here's the Deal explaining why. That video was no surprise. Back the blue till they tread on you. Yeah, I've seen so many of that. I love the ones when the I'm a big blue supporter, big blue line supporter. And what, you harassed me and violate my rights? I thought I was on your side. I thought we were buddies. No, you're the people. The people are the enemy. They don't care what you put on your truck or what you say in a chat room. You're still the enemy. You're not a cop, so you're the enemy. Sean Bain said, not at all. They are the private army. Yes, they are a private standing army of the U.S. government that isn't as scrutinized as the actual army. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Not a fan of militarized police. That's not their job. Nominal Man says, YouTube won't let me express my thoughts on cops. Actually, he said in cops, but I don't think he's been in very many cops. I think he meant on cops. John Heasley said, hell no, they're government thugs. Exactly. They are definitely government thugs. I agree with that completely. High-paid government thugs. Why do you think they're paid so much? And they go after the wrong people. Now, it used to be if you were in the military, it was very hard to get into law enforcement because they didn't want soldiers. They want people who just followed orders. They wanted people who could discern right from wrong. That's the opposite of what they want nowadays. That's why almost every cop you see is a former military person. ATF Aaron Talks Firearms says the police are the ones that will take our guns. Yes, and they've shown that time and time again. There's been several situations where they've ordered guns seized for people's own safety, and the cops go right out in those boats and take those guns away from people and just suck up taking away your rights. They just love it. They get to be big, tough guys. Edgar Cortez says, I do not trust the police to protect my rights. I don't trust them to protect my, I wouldn't trust them to protect my car. So I definitely won't trust them to protect my rights. I definitely don't trust them to protect my life or my family's life. Because even if they were there when they were needed, they'd wait till the shot stopped being fired before they got involved in most cases. So not interested. Mikey D chimed in and said, Popo ain't been for us, especially now. They are like 99% of everybody else, not going to give up their cushy spots. Just like the job, the sheep will follow. Yeah, the sheep, or just like the jab, the sheep will follow. Yeah, the sheeple don't care. I mean, I don't understand what it is about the people in the right side of the community, the right wing of the community. People that are supposedly conservative, supposedly future revolutionaries, why they lick the boots of law enforcement so much. The first line of defense the government has against you and your freedom and taking their jobs from them. Why do you trust them? Why do you worship them? Why do you pretend like they do something special? We never worshiped bullies back in my day, and that's mostly what cops have become these days, bullies. Have you seen that video? That one cop, they finally got off force after years and years of him harassing people, with the one where he tases a mom who's not even driving. She's sitting in her car waiting for her daughter to get out of like a concert or something, and like a school concert practice or something. And he tases her, and then she's like, why'd you tase? He's like, I was scared. He was mocking her. I was scared. You made me scared, so I had to use force. I'm like, their video alone should have been enough to put him in jail. Let's get him off the force. Now he's on bereavement leave. He's on mental health leave because one of his buddies got shot in the line of duty. Working the system. Those kind of guys, that's what you see nowadays. Fucking bullies and assholes. The testosterone replacement generation. Those are the ones you're seeing wanting to be police now. Uneducated white guys are some of the biggest problems we have in this country. They have some weird ideas about stuff. Mad Dog chimed in and says, hell no, I was taught to be respectful to them, but don't trust them. I thought that was the consensus. Not sure when that changed. When it became essential that certain political parties had to divide people on authority. So they taught one side to hate authority, the left, and one side to worship authority. They taught them like, soldiers are the best among us. They're the brightest and the most brave. When that's just not the case. If anybody's ever been in the military, you know that in fact, it's just like a microcosm of the real world, only we got a lot more scumbags in the military. Be involved in law enforcement or interviews or anything in the military and find out how things that exist in the real world are exaggerated in the military. Now, we owe the military because they did their job. They performed their duty, protected the country. Then they should get what they're promised. So I'm always a big supporter of soldiers getting their promised care, but to pretend like they're somehow super special people. A lot of them are there because they don't have another option. And everybody who's been in the military knows that. So I don't know where that became a thing, but it did. It became that uber patriotism thing. If you don't support the cops, you're not a patriot. Seems to me like if you were a patriot, you'd be suspicious of the cops, to be honest. But that's something that just came along, and it really it became a thing under Reagan especially, but it really got even bigger under W. That was when it was, you're either with us or against us, that kind of stuff. And if you're against us, then you're not a patriot, you're not an American, that kind of thing. And that was one of the most harmful things that ever happened to our country, I think. Paul Rollerson, trust police, not in NYC or LA, Green River. You bet, depends upon the location, maybe. Politeness goes a long way ahead of interacting with cops. Politeness does go a long way. And I tell people, even though I think cops are some of the worst people in the world and the way law enforcement is used now is despicable, the best way to not get shot is cooperate. And if you want to express your side, well, do it in front of a judge who will understand the law. Cops don't understand the law, and they don't care. You try to contradict them, they're going to see you as an aggressive enemy, and they're going to treat you like one. So wait till you are able to speak your mind in front of a judge before you fight back. Unless, of course, your life's on the line. And then I don't care. If a cop was illegally harassing a person and that person legitimately felt in fear of their life and they took action first, I would be on that person's side. I'm not going to be like, they killed a cop, they're a cop killer. I'd be like, did that cop need killing? Just like I am with pretty much everybody. Did they need killing? I have known a few good cops. They all quit or got killed. Mostly quit, I would think. There's not a lot of cops that get killed. There ain't a lot of deaths in the line of duty of police officers. And when you do look at deaths in the line of duty, the largest chunk of deaths in the line of duty for police officers is car accidents and suicides. Those are big things with them. Often the suicides come after they've been convicted of something like domestic violence, etc., drug addiction, drug trafficking, etc. But dying from their own recklessness while driving is the most common cause of death for police officers. Worked you a cop for a short period of time. And it was not a pleasant period of time, and it was nothing I'd do again, and it's not even as good now as it was then. John Mandrick said, some will, some won't. Won't know till it happens. I think we can know now because we've seen how many cops quit when they were told to do what they were told to do in Minneapolis. How many cops quit when they were told to do what they were told to do in Louisiana? How many cops quit when they were told what to do in Washington, when they were clearly violating people's rights? I didn't see any mass resignations. I didn't see any resignations. It's all about enforcing laws, not protecting rights. It's not even about enforcing laws. Laws should protect your rights. If you're violating someone's rights, chances are you're not enforcing the law. You're misusing the law. Ghost Shadow says, YouTube won't let me post my comment. Emailed it. I already said that. Already saw that and read it. That was the one I read about knowing a few good cops. So looks like we're done. And I'm glad to see that it's mostly people won't trust the police officers. Unfortunately, that's not indicative of the gun community. There are so many thin blue lines out there. I love when someone has a "Don't Tread on Me" flag on one side of their truck and a thin blue line on the other. And I'm like, those two things are diametrically opposed. You can't be both. Choose one. You can't be, I'm going to stand up and boogaloo and I'll always respect the police. That's not going to work out. So you might want to think about that. But as I was saying, that's it for us today. I want to thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I want to thank everybody who chimed in to give me something to read and talk about. I appreciate that. Thanks everybody who helps the channel. Remember, if you're a fan of this channel, we are a restricted channel. So go on over and sign up to my page. Go on my page and subscribe. And not only subscribe, but turn on notifications. because if you don't, you will not get notified for my videos. So if you want to know when we go live or when I post a new video or when I just go on the air for some reason because I got a bug up my butt and want to say something, if you want to get notifications for that stuff, turn on your notifications for the channel. Otherwise, you will not get notified because we are a restricted channel. They like to say that better than shadow banned. Also, if you want to support the channel, go buy some merch or something. Go over to my website, TYMP. Both of these things are linked in the upper channel, my channel and my website. Go over, use the link to Shopify, buy some merchandise. Help support TYMP. Join Patreon, support pets and vets, get yourself some cool patches. Join Subscribestar, and you can support TYMP or pets and vets and get yourself some patches. So go on over, sign up, become part of the posse, help this channel do the things we do, help us continue doing the things we do, support the animal charities, the vet charities, everything, TYMP. So go on over, do that. And for now, I want to say once again, thanks everybody for everything you do. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe till I see you again.